What's up, everybody, and aloha! How are you Hawaiians, both near, far, and everywhere in between? My name is Kale2K, and thank you for joining me back in for another episode on my podcast called A Hawaiian. So I appreciate it so much. Like I said before, it's just me sharing my thoughts, getting my therapy going, getting stuff off my chest, de-stressing a little bit. I don't even know if de-stressing is a real word, but it is going to be for this podcast. So thank you guys all for coming back. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And like I say, multiple times, look on my social media. I ask questions because I want to get some interaction with, viewers, listeners. Visit my social media, visit my YouTube page or my Instagram account or TikTok. Look me up, Kale2K, on all social media. I ask questions. I feed off the podcast. I put questions down there. If you respond, more than likely I'll read it out here on my podcast because, I like to learn too. So if you share your opinion, you share a different side, even if it's a different side, you're still teaching me how the other side of the coin thinks, because I think on one side, maybe somebody else gets their opinion and talks about it on the other side. So yeah, so if you guys are able to do that, please go ahead and do that. And if you have any questions you guys want to ask me, go ahead and put that down there as well. Because I that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to interact with, listeners, viewers, whoever it may be. And just have fun with this thing, just that's what it's all about. Like, this is something that I'm starting to take more and more serious, but also enjoy at the same time, because I don't want to lose the joy and the passion I have for doing something like this. I want to show my kids that if they have something that they want to go for, that they should go for it, okay? And so let's get straight into it, starting off with the mana'o moment. First of all, before I get into that, I hope you guys had a great week, okay? I hope you guys are blessed. I hope something good happened, something positive happened to you, whether it's from listening to me or if it's from, a prayer being answered, listening to other social media platforms, other podcasts, wherever it may be. I hope somebody enlightened your week and brought some joy to you. Focus on that and keep on moving forward, folks. Go after your dreams, okay? So let's get into it. My mana'o moment. Speaking of kids to me are the most amazing creatures on this planet. They are literally your offspring. They literally look like you, and they literally look like your spouse or your significant other for the most part. For me, my kids, certain looks, they look like me. Certain looks, they look like my wife. Certain days they irritate me. Certain days they irritate my wife. Certain days I want them on my team. Certain days my wife wants them on their team. It's back and forth. It's like, oh my gosh, but they are amazing, beautiful angels and gifts from heaven. That's what I believe in. So if you don't, then that's up to you. But that's what I believe in. I believe that they are brought to earth as my responsibility to teach me as a human being how to grow, how to be a better father, how to be a better, better role model, better provider, all these things, to be better. That's what I believe kids are for. Kids are in your life so that you can be a better person, because I don't want to treat kids like crap. I don't want them to eventually grow up to treat other people like crap. Treat them with respect, teach them how to be better people, how to be better than myself. That's the overall goal. If you don't know by now, I have 3 kids, all girls. At this point, my wife wants another one. We'll figure that out when it comes. I have 3 girls. Each of them have their own personalities, and I didn't know that until I had my second child, and I'll get into that. My 5-year-old, she's very meek, she's very soft-spoken, but very loving, and she's into martial arts. She loves it so much. She enjoys going, she enjoys learning, and she's starting to punch a lot harder and kick a lot harder than she did before. Like, literally less than a year ago, when she would hit my stomach, it wouldn't hurt. Now she's got a good form, she's got a good solid right, and she can kick pretty well. So it's starting to hurt. It's definitely paying off. I think I got a couple bruises on my stomach. So she likes that. She's a very meek person, very loving, very soft-spoken. And then my 1-year-old, she's trying to be the bully. She's trying to be the boss right now. She's strutting around like a strong penguin. She's starting to talk. She'll say, yeah. Like, that's her thing. She'll just say, yeah. I'm like, oh, do you want something to eat? Yeah. Do you want to watch TV? Yeah. Are you tired? Yeah. Like, that's just her thing. And of course, she cries for bottle, cries for mom all the time. So this normal 1-year-old stuff. My second child, God loves you when they give you the second child. Okay, the second child, the middle child syndrome it is. Oh my Lord, it is not a false accusation. Okay, this is fact. At this point, it's become factual in my life. Okay, I am the middle child. Okay, my middle child, my 2-year-old, acts rebellious just like me. I never knew that you could literally be raised in the same household, taught the same values, treated the same way, and yet turn out to be a totally different person. We haven't changed the rules in our house between my oldest daughter and my second child, but their personalities are so different, so crazy, okay? So my number 2 is very loving. If she hurts somebody, she tries to take care of them. If she hears if anybody attacks her sisters, my number 2 child will come after you, okay? She'll come after you swinging. She'll come after you screaming. She may not know how to fight, but she's very, very protective, and I love that so much about her. The other side of that coin of this child's personality, beautiful little goddess, is she's intense. She's also very sassy, and lately she's been saying no. We'll be like, baby, you need to sit down. No. What the hell did you say? You need to clean up your toys. No. What? I've never in my life wanted to drop a knee on a kid more than I did with my second child. Love her to death. I will protect her for the very last breath that I have in my body. And I want to be with her for all time and eternity when we pass away, and I want her to be with me in heaven, or me with her in heaven, her with me in heaven, whichever way this whole world turns out to be. But I've never wanted to congratulate her on being so witty, so sneaky, and yet knock her out at the same time. And let me explain this to you. So she's got an attitude, she's got a sass, but recently she's starting to become a thief. Okay, my daughter, I have a little drawer that I put some money in there. I play music, I perform at different places, I gain tips, whatever. I throw it in this little drawer, keep it away. Put it away so I can, buy some things here and there, get things for my girls, whatever it may be. I'm at work and my wife calls me up and she says, "You're not going to believe this, but your number 2 child has found your money. And she's not going to give it back because she said, this is what I want. This is mine." Smart kid. She's discovering things. She knows what money looks like. She's like, "I'm going to take this. I'm going to put it in my piggy bank." We have piggy banks for our little girls. "I'm going to go ahead and put it in my piggy bank for me." And then my wife's like, "Oh, okay." And then she goes, No, but I want my sisters to have too. This girl, okay, so this girl is so slick that she knows. She already knows. I'm going to share this with my sisters, because if I'm going down and my dad comes home and takes money from me, he has to take money from them too. This girl is so smart. It's freaking me out at 2 years old. So she's like, she gives out money to them. Like, she owns it. She's like, "This is for you. This is for you. Yeah, daddy said this is for you. This is for me. This is for you. This is for you." I'm like, in my head, I'm just like, this child is blowing my mind. I congratulate her on being smart, being witty, being slick, being clever, but at the same time, don't be a thief, baby girl. Don't let me come home and want to punch you in the head. Which I would never do, okay? I'm saying these things, but I would never do that to my kids, okay? She's smart. So at that point, you got to give her the money. You can't, I can't take the money back. She's already advanced in the way she's thinking. She's thinking, okay, I got money, but should I keep it for myself? No, let me give it to my sisters, because if I'm going down and I'm burning in flames, I'm bringing my sisters down with me. We're doing this together. Y'all want money? Y'all take the consequences that come with it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's only 2. She's already a mastermind, a master criminal. This 2-year-old's killing me. But I loved it. Yes, and I did. I just said, okay, keep the money. Here you go. Put it in your piggy banks. Put your piggy banks away. And they were all happy. And of course, my wife, she'll go out and take them to go buy things here and there to celebrate it or whatever. So it works out good. And that's that's what I'm saying. Kids are blessings, and they're also teaching you things. They're teaching you that you thought you were slick. You thought you were slick. But this 2-year-old's going to be more sneaky than you, and she's going to catch you one day. Beautiful. And it goes to show that my father and my mother were right. They said you won't understand until you have a kid of your own. And now every morning I wake up, before I leave the house, I look at my 2-year-old and be like, damn, she looks and acts just like me. I guess I'm starting to learn and eat my own words now. But here's the other thing. Raising kids in a new environment, in a place that I'm not familiar with, they're used to it because this is the only place they know. It's different for me. For me and my wife, we grew up in Hawaii, living out here in Utah, trying to do our best, trying to reach our goals, reach for the stars, as best as we can, stretch out, catch that burning sunball. And I'm trying my best to bring the Hawaiian culture that I know, the Hawaiian culture that I have embedded myself in growing up as a Hawaiian, growing up, born and raised in the islands, and coming here to Utah and trying to bring all that culture to my kids. I don't speak Hawaiian. I don't know all the Hawaiian traditions, all this stuff. I know some phrases, know some words here and there. And it's a little difficult, but I try to do my best. And recently I ran into this guy who owns a restaurant called The Hungry Hawaiian out in Provo. And he was explaining to me, we got a chance to sit down, we got a chance to talk story, because I'm gonna start performing there soon. So looking forward to that, and thank you, babe, for helping me with that. But anyways, so when I'm listening to him and we're talking story, he was sharing with me that his family has been in Utah since the late 70s, early 80s, somewhere around there. And for the most part, he grew up here not knowing why it was so important to learn Hawaiian culture. His family's like, okay, we're going to teach you everything we know. They put him into performing music, performing hulas, dancing, all this Hawaiian culture stuff that he was not understanding why he needed it until he became an adult. Then he realized, man, this is my culture. This is who I am. This is what makes me, me. So he shares that with his kids as best as he can, whatever phrases, whatever language, whatever music, whatever performance, whatever hula he remembers, he passes that on. And one of the biggest things he was saying is that growing up, he had a hard time figuring out, where do I fit in? He was, he's Hawaiian, but he's also half white. And he's very fair. His skin is very fair, like a very, very light shade of brown. But you could tell by his facial features, he's got to be a Polynesian. So Polynesian, not Polynesians. But he was telling me, he's like, I'm kind of I was growing up, I was kind of torn. Like, I'm not full Polynesian, and I'm not full white. But the guys I hang out with, a lot of them are full Tongan or full Samoan. So he really didn't know where he fit in. But he said that what rooted him to be proud was the culture that his family had taught him. And so he was very grateful for it. Of course, it helped him, learn more about his own culture. Now he owns a restaurant, or he cooks at a restaurant. He's a chef. He loves it. And it's expanding to other local people from Hawaii who want to come enjoy a good meal, enjoy good Hawaiian company, all this stuff. And to me, I'm like, man, that's what I want to do with my kids. And that's what he told me. He said, hey, you might be living out here now. Bring whatever knowledge you have of Hawaii, share it with your kids to the best of your abilities. Teach them what it means to be Hawaiian, even if that way is in your own way. And it stood out to me because there's no book to this. There's no book on teaching your kids Hawaiian culture. There's no book on how to be a parent, and on top of that, how to be a Hawaiian parent. There's what people say, there's what people can share with you, and it's what you can share with your kids. Passing down knowledge, passing down, Hawaiian history, culture, whatever that may be. Filling in those blanks that, in my opinion, get lost a lot of times. Because I've run into local Hawaiian kids who know nothing about Hawaii. Their parents never taught them a thing. I remember running into this one Hawaiian kid in Vegas. And then we're talking story, and I'm like, he's saying some things in here and there that were off the wall. And I'm like, bro, that's not right. He's like, what? He goes, that's not correct. He's like, he's telling me whatever he was, he was talking about culture, Hawaiian culture this, Hawaiian culture that. I'm like, bro, that's not right, bro. That's not correct. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, bro, that's not how things work in Hawaii. That's not so and so. That's not this. It's like, did your parents teach you this? He's like, oh no, I just kind of looked it up. It's like, okay, well, there's some things you got to figure out. You got to do some more research here and there. And to me, I don't want my kids to end up like that. I don't want my kids to be like, I know nothing about Hawaii. I don't know who King Kamehameha is. I don't know who Queen Liliuokalani is. I don't know who King David Kalakaua is. I don't know these things. But right now, they're small, but I can still teach them. I teach them Hawaiian words. I teach them, motions. Po'omaka ihua ha pepeao lima mana mana lima. I teach them all these little songs here and there, and I make it fun, so they're starting to learn more about that. I teach them aloha. I teach them, and currently I'm playing music, Hawaiian music, local island reggae music, whatever it may be. Trying to teach more Hawaiian music, and my girls love it. Just last night, I was practicing my ukulele, playing some songs, preparing myself to, for another performance, and my 1-year-old comes with her little toy ukulele and starts strumming it. And she just starts smiling. And it brings so much joy to my heart to know that I'm trying to do my best to be the best father I can be. On top of that, the best Hawaiian father I can be to my girls. My oldest daughter, she loves to sing. She can pick up on songs pretty easily, and she sings very well. My second daughter, she likes to bang on things, so she'll probably be a drummer. We'll have to get her an ipu or something, ipu heke ole, whatever it may be. And of course, my baby, we're still trying to mature what she likes to be involved in as far as Hawaiian culture goes. But overall, if you are an indigenous person, trying to, if you moved from the islands, you moved from another country, whatever it may be, teach your kids those small values, those small things that we have taken for granted growing up. Teach them your culture, because eventually they're going to wonder, who am I? What am I? How did I come here? And so if we as parents can take the time to share that culture that we've been born and raised in, that blessing. Like, I feel so blessed to be born and raised in Hawaii. I feel so blessed to have gone to Kamehameha schools. I feel so blessed to have been taught the Hawaiian culture that I know for myself. And of course, there's so much more I can learn. But I'm blessed enough to have the knowledge that I can pass on to my kids so that they will always remember where their roots are. You know what I mean? And no matter where they go, they will know that they are Hawaiian forevermore. Okay? And that's what I have to share about that. Whew, getting a little emotional. Sorry about that, guys. All right. So yes, I love my kids. I love the Hawaiian culture. Spreading that to them is very, very important to me. So now let's get on to the second part of this podcast. It's news to me. All right. So let's get into this portion. So I read this article titled Dad's Innocent Lunchbox Mistakes Leaves His Daughter in Agony. All right. So there's this dad, we'll just call him Joey. Joey was doing his fatherly and husbandly duties by making lunch sandwiches for his child and his wife. Like most of us dads, he decided that this was the opportunity given to him by God to play a prank on his wife. He poured hot sauce measuring in at a scorching lava heat of 3 million Scoville into his wife's sandwich, then wrapped it all up, spread it out to his family members, and everyone left the house. In the middle of the day, Joy receives a disturbing phone call from his daughter's school saying that she is in pain and agony, and that he needs to come down to the school ASAP. Hele mai avivi. It was at this moment Joey knew he effed up. Joy rushed down to the school, realizing that he probably burned a hole in his daughter's stomach and intestines, and he hurried to the nurse's office. After being chewed out by the school nurse and the principal, Joy explained what happened with his daughter to his wife, who chuckled about the whole thing. And here are some of the comments from those who read the story. One person said, "I don't know if I should feel bad or laugh my ass off." Another wrote, "She will never trust another sandwich made by you again." Some other readers shared their own infernal food stories. One said that his grandmother pureed red chili peppers and then put them into his sandwich and warned him, "Do not eat this." Later, the boy's sandwich was being eaten by another student who eventually was tearing and apologizing for taking his lunch. Another reader said that he had accidentally put hot sauce into his own food when he was 8 years old, and when his father took him to the doctor's office, all the father and doctor could do was just laugh at his huge mess up. But that same reader ends with some solid advice for Brother Joey. He goes, "Hey, it happens, bro. And this is going to be a laughing matter soon. Talk about a funny family story." And that's true. That does happen a lot for me personally. My own Kanaka thoughts. Is I agree with this guy. It's going to be a funny story later on in life. Your daughter's going to laugh about it. You're going to laugh about it. And it's all about growing up as a parent. You know, maybe this is his culture, playing pranks. But anyways, it backfired. Got it? Did you get it? Backfired? Got it? Okay. Anyways, for me personally, this is going to be a funny story. It happens in every family. Mistakes happen. No one was hurt. I'm glad nobody had to go to the hospital. You know, I'm glad the daughter didn't get anything worse than that. But that they're okay. For me, it reminds me of my father. I remember one time, we were eating dinner, and I'm looking at my dad's plate, and I go, "Oh, Dad, can I have that?" He stone cold stared at me, grabbed out the Tabasco, and poured it on every little thing in his plate. Rice, the chili, whatever it was, bread, fruits, everything. Anything that was there, he poured hot sauce on it because he knew I wasn't going to eat it, and he was damn right. I didn't touch his food, didn't ask him for anything. I just left. And my father capped the Tabasco and kept on eating because he knew I wasn't going to eat it. There was another time, so speaking of pranks, there was another time I was eating lunch with a friend of mine. I stepped away from my table real quick to grab a juice, and then he ends up putting a piece of tape in my sandwich without me knowing. So I'm crunching, I'm eating. All of a sudden, this piece of Scotch tape comes pulling out of my sandwich. I pull it out of my tongue, and I'm like, "This is disgusting." He's laughing. He's having a good time. And he's like, "Oh, man, oh." And he ends up leaving the table. Bad mistake on you, my boy. He leaves his sandwich, leaves his pink lemonade. I think that was what we were drinking, or raspberry lemonade, whatever. And he's just like, "I'm going to go." So he ends up grabbing, I don't know, something. I grab hot sauce, pour that bad boy right into his strawberry lemonade. So he's got all that fruit mixture, right? So I'm just dumping it in there and shaking it up. And he starts eating his sandwich and drinking his juice. And he's like, "Oh my God. Oh, this is hot. Oh, this is hot." And he starts drinking more juice, not knowing where the hotness is coming from. He's drinking juice. He's like, eats his sandwich. Like, "Oh, the bread's not helping." Drinks more juice. Like, "Wait a minute. Did you pour hot sauce in my drink?" "Gotcha, boy. I gotcha." So that's what you get for messing with me. Want to prank me? I'm about to turn it up. Hot sauce. So yes, pranks are fun. Just be safe, okay? That's all I'm saying. But no, this guy, hopefully this doesn't happen to me and my kids, because I don't want to burn my kids, their tongues or whatever. But I am thankful that they do try different things. But all right. So yeah. All right. Now getting into the last and final segment, the Thought Bucket. Here we go. Let me see. I'm going to dig down the middle and see what we can find here. Pull this out. Wait, there it is. All right. Okay, here we go. Alrighty, here we go. Open up. Okay, here's my thought bucket question. What was your favorite sitcom to watch when you were younger? Sitcom. Let's see. Well, one that I used to watch a lot was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I love that show. I love what it represented. I love that it made you laugh. I love the fact that it was about a family, and it was about a family that had a wild cousin that did funny things, but was a real family. Like this stuff, it's not like this stuff was outlandish, like it could never happen. It wasn't science fiction. It was an actual reality TV show without it being a reality TV show. Like those scenarios are pretty straight on. And I love the fact that they had Will Smith's character. You just didn't, you put him into a box, but then he would step out of that box and really make you realize that there's more to him than what we see. He comes off as this hood rat. He comes off as this rapper. He comes off as this guy from the hood that, this bad boy persona, smooth criminal, smooth talking with the women. But at the same time, he's also got a other side to the coin. Just like my daughter. The other side to his coin is he's very compassionate. He's very loving. He's very protective of his family. He's very smart. He's very witty, and he's very funny at the same time. Like he had such a good performance as that character that eventually you didn't put him in a box. You were almost sitting there waiting, okay, what is he going to do next? What is he going to say next? How is he going to act next? And it's funny because every time he got in trouble, he wouldn't ask for anybody for help except maybe Carlton, and he would go and find a way to get out, which would be even funnier and get him into more trouble. But I love the fact that it was about family. It was always about family. It was always about, of course they come from a different point of view, a different coin compared to my life, from them being black, African American, and having to live through some of the prejudices that the show put on to depict what was going on in life at that time. I love the sitcom. I had so much fun listening to it. And Uncle Phil, I forgot what his real name is. But anyways, Uncle Phil reminded me so much of my father. And even to this day when I watch it, he looks just like my dad before he passed. And I had a connection to Uncle Phil that was different. He reminded me a lot of my father, could get on his nerves, but my dad loved me no matter what. My parents, my parents were great to me. My dad loved me no matter what, and he would protect me and teach me life lessons. He would be there to get me out of a bail if I ever needed it. I love the scene where Uncle Phil goes to the pool hall, destroys everybody in the pool hall. I love the scene where Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv go down to the police station and get Carlton and Will Smith out. And my final scene that I love is when Uncle Phil embraces Will Smith and holds him tight after his dad just walks out on him. Whew, very emotional, very loving. I love that movie. I love that show so much. And I know that there's a new show based off of that show called Bel Air. I'm going to look forward to watching that. But anyways, everybody, thank you once again. My name is Kalei2K. Hope you guys have a great week. Thank you for joining me for this podcast. Look me up on social media under Kalei2K. Look at my questions. Take a look. Listen. Read them. Comment them. Ask me any question you guys want to ask me. Please don't be raunchy or negative. I would really appreciate that because I don't want to read that crap. But if you guys are able to respond to my questions, that'd be great. And I'll read them here on my podcast. All right. Thank you guys so much. Take care. God bless. And aloha. Oh, wait. Remember to spread aloha, not hate. Okay. Love you guys. Bye-bye.